Lately, I've been feeling it. The world feels heavier than it used to. Not just busy, and not just loud, heavy. Everywhere you look, there's something pulling at your spirit. The news feels endless. The headlines feel urgent. The tone feels dark. Even places that once felt safe, they feel different now. And sometimes, if I'm being honest, I feel the urge to turn it all off. To stay inside my home, to shut the door, and just protect my peace. Some days, home feels like the only place where quiet still lives. And maybe you've felt that too. Maybe you felt overwhelmed. Maybe you felt tired of hearing about evil, collapse, fear, and endings. Maybe you're wondering how much more the heart can take. And I want to say this gently. Noticing the darkness does not make you weak. It makes you aware. But awareness does not mean fear. Fear is loud right now. It's everywhere. It comes through screens, through voices, through endless warnings. And even among Christians, fear has become common. So many voices explaining what's wrong. So many voices pointing out everything that's broken. And so many voices telling us how bad it's getting. And I find myself asking this question. When did faith start feeling so anxious? Because when I read scripture, I don't see fear. I see steadiness. I see peace. I see a God who tells his people again and again, do not be afraid. Jesus warned us about hard days. He told us the world would be broken. And he didn't tell us to panic. He told us to lift our heads. And he told us not to be troubled. He told us to stay awake and ready, not terrified. So instead of asking, what is happening to the world? I think a better question is, where am I with the Lord? And I don't ask that to judge you. I ask it because I've asked it myself. There was a time in my life when I only prayed when I needed help. I didn't see it then, but I sure do see it now. Most of my prayers sounded like this. Lord, help me. Lord, I need you to fix this. Lord, please change this. Sometimes it was money, bills that needed paid, situations that felt impossible. And sometimes it was relationships, things that were broken, things I didn't know how to mend. Sometimes I prayed because I was scared, sometimes because I was confused. And God did help me. He did answer some prayers, and he did step in at times. But here's the part that's hard to admit. Many times, once the problem passed, I didn't stop and say thank you. I didn't pause. I didn't acknowledge him. I just moved on, right back to my life, right back to the next worry. And one day, the Lord gently showed me something. Have you ever had someone in your life who only comes to you when they need something? They need a ride, they need money, they need hope, they need your time. They always have their hand out, but they never ask how you're doing. They never say good morning. They never say thank you. And after a while, it starts to feel empty. Not because helping is wrong, it's not, but because there's no relationship. And I realized that's how I was treating God. Not like a father, not like someone I loved, but like someone I went to only when I needed something fixed. And you know, God did not shame me, and he didn't turn away. He invited me closer. He showed me that fear grows when prayer becomes only asking, and peace grows when prayer becomes presence. So I started asking myself different questions. When was the last time I prayed and did not ask for anything? When was the last time I simply said, I love you, Lord? No reason, no need, just love. When was the last time that I said, good morning, Lord, and actually meant it? When was the last time I stopped and said, thank you, without rushing on to the next thing? And I began doing something very simple. I talked to God throughout my day. Not long prayers and not fancy words, just honest ones. While making coffee, I would say, thank you for this morning. While folding laundry, I love you, Lord. When my thoughts felt heavy, I trust you. And slowly something changed. The world didn't suddenly become better, and the problems did not disappear. But my heart softened, and fear didn't have the same grip on me, because love was growing. But I also need to be honest about something else. God did not answer every prayer I prayed. He didn't fix every single problem. And He didn't rescue me from every situation. He didn't step in the way I wanted Him to every time. There were prayers I cried through, prayers I begged through, prayers that I whispered when I had nothing left. And sometimes nothing changed. The danger remained, the pain stayed, the situation did not improve. And there were moments I wondered, Lord, do you even see me? Do you hear me? Am I alone in this? So if you've ever felt that way, you are not wrong. You are not weak. You are not faithless. Some people are carrying pain that feels unbearable. Abuse, fear, loneliness, years of suffering with no clear way out. Some people have prayed for help. It felt like none came. And when that happens, it can feel like God is silent or distant or cruel. I want to say this carefully. Silence does not mean absence. God's love is not measured by how quickly He fixes things. I didn't learn that easily. I learned it slowly, through tears, through disappointment, through seasons I did not choose. There were times in my life when I woke up in mental hospitals, tied down to a bed and completely broken. God didn't remove me from that moment, but He carried me through it. One morning I woke up to a masked man standing over me with a knife. I didn't feel brave. I didn't feel protected, but somehow I lived. There were relationships where I was physically hurt and emotionally tore down. I prayed so hard for change. Sometimes it came, sometimes it did not, but I survived. There was a season when I lived in my car, no home, no safety, no plan, just day-to-day survival. Then the time I escaped with my toddlers, pregnant with my 4th child, went to a shelter for women of domestic abuse, I was not strong. I was scared, but you know what? I kept going. I don't tell you these things to shock you. I tell you this because I know what it feels like to pray and still hurt, and to ask God for help and still suffer, and to wonder where He is. God did not always rescue me the way I wanted. He did not erase every single danger, and He did not fix everything. But He gave me strength when I had none. He kept me alive when I wanted to disappear. And He stayed when I had nothing left. I know God is real, not because my life was easy, but because I am still here, still breathing, still standing, still able to speak. This is how I know He was with me. So if you're listening right now and thinking, He didn't help me, He didn't answer, I've already been through hell, I want you to hear this gently. If you are still here, He has not left you. If you are still breathing, your story is not over. And if you are still listening, there is still hope. Sometimes survival is faith. Sometimes endurance is worship. Sometimes staying alive is the bravest prayer of all. God is close to the brokenhearted, not because they are strong, but because they are hurting. He's not offended by your anger, and He's not afraid of your questions, and He can handle your honesty. And if all you can say right now is, God, are you there? That is still a prayer. Even tears are prayers. Even silence can be a prayer. Even staying is prayer. So how do we stay rooted in faith when the world feels dark? We stay close. Not perfect, not polished, close. We talk to Him. We invite Him into ordinary moments. We tell Him the truth. We say thank you when we remember. We say, I love you even when we're tired. We protect our hearts, and we turn down the noise when it overwhelms us. We choose peace over panic, and we remember who God is and who He is not. He's not cruel. He is not distant, and He is not finished with you. And we remember this too. We already know how this story ends, don't we? Christ wins. Not someday, already. And for those who belong to Him, the future is not something to fear. It is something to hope for. So yes, I look to the sky sometimes, not with panic, but with peace. And maybe today will be the day. And if it is, oh, what joy. And if it isn't, then today is still sacred. A day to love Him, a day to stay close, a day to keep going. So before you move on with your day, and before the noise returns, I want to invite you to pause just for a moment. And in your own words say, I love you, Lord. No asking for anything, no explaining, just love. Because that quiet communion, that closeness, that's where fear will loosen its grip. And that is how we are going to stay rooted. You don't have to have it all figured out. And you don't have to feel strong. You don't even have to be okay. If you are still here, God is definitely not finished with you. Stay close to Him today. Talk to Him in the ordinary moments. Invite Him into the quiet parts of your life. And remember this, you are seen, you are loved, and your life matters more than you know. And I'll see you next time.